Hi everyone, Alex here. Continuing with our HVAC series. Today we're going to do spaces and space schedules. So I'm going to show you how to create spaces, how to modify spaces, how to delete spaces, how to manage spaces in an efficient way. For that we're going to be using schedules. So get ready, let's get to it. Hi everyone, this is Alex with BIMitUp, where we help you with professional training and coaching in mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection systems, and Autodesk platforms like Revit and AutoCAD MEP. Let's get started. All right, let's create some mechanical spaces. For that, let's open up our model. The model is called 001, Mechanical, version 1, Link Level Plans and RCPs. Once you open your model, you make sure that when you click on the link, edit type, room bounding is checked. We did that in our previous exercise. That's what's going to allow us to do the next step, which is creating spaces. For that, we go into the Analyze tab, and we click here on Space. I'm going to show you that if I create this space, Revit is pretty smart, and it creates space 1, the next one will be space 2, and so on. If you click on the space, you notice that it has a level associated to it. It has an upper limit. It has a limit offset, which is how high it is based on the reference level. And it has many other parameters for energy calculations, load calculations, some lighting calculation. You have electrical loads. You have an area associated to it, a volume associated to it. You can specify the supply airflow, the return airflow, and the exhaust airflow. And then here under energy analysis, you can associate to a zone. We'll do that later. And you can define the space type based on ASHRAE 62.1. You know, whether it's a kitchen, it's a classroom, it's a conference room, a dining area, you have all of them here. And depending on what you select, then these parameters are going to change. The sensible heat gain per person, the latent heat gain per person, power load density, outdoor air per person, and you can override all these values. You can create new types of spaces, you can copy based on an existing one, you can rename them, and you can even delete them. But what I really want to do is I want to create spaces automatically, not one by one. So for that, I would like to delete these spaces and start over. But if I try to do that, if I hover over the tag only, notice that if I click on the tag, it says here space tag, right? If I delete that tag, I'm deleting only the tag, and Revit gives me a warning saying, okay, your space tag was deleted, but the corresponding space still exists. You can place another tag or select the space and delete it. So I could come here to annotate and then just retag my space, or I could delete my space. But if I hover over my space and I select it, see, I have it selected spaces, and I hit the delete key, Revit gives me this warning. It says, okay, a space was deleted from all the model views, but it still remains in the project. So you can either remove from a schedule or place back into the model using the space command. What that means is that the space is still in the project. It's somewhere. It's in a container. So when you go here to Analyze and click on Space, you can either create a new space, let's say here or here, and it would be a new space, space 3, or you could select the space and then just place it somewhere else. So space 1 could be here, or it could be here where it was originally. All right, so that's how that works. I'm just going to cancel the command, right-click, cancel, and I'm going to create a space schedule so that I can properly delete those spaces and furthermore, manage my spaces more efficiently. Okay, so let's create our space schedule. For that, we come here into View, Schedules, Schedule Quantities. We're going to select Spaces from here. So we're scheduling building components. Spaces is a building component. The phase, we're going to keep as new construction. We're going to click OK. So what do we want to include in that schedule? I would definitely want to include the number. So I'm hitting N, so it navigates me very close to number. I also want to add the name. I want to add the area, so I'm going to hit A to go back to area. Let's say we want to add the volume as well. So I'm going to hit V, added volume. We definitely want the space type, right, based on ASHRAE 62.1. Now let's add the zone because we're going to use that later. Let's click OK. And right now we only have the 2 spaces that we have created. Here's the one that is not placed. Since it's not placed, it doesn't have any area or volume or space type. Okay, so now we can delete a space. So let me go back to my floor plan. I'm going to do window tile, WT. I'm going to zoom out. And then from here, I'm going to delete this row like this, delete. And now it's telling me that it's going to delete one space. That's exactly what I want. delete. Now I have this space. This is the only one that I have left. So I'm going to click here. And I'm going to delete that one. And as I delete it, the space gets fully deleted and also does the tag. Now let's recreate the spaces in a more efficient way. And we're going to do that by coming here to Analyze and then Space. And then here we click Place Spaces Automatically. And since we have Tag on Placement on, it's going to tag them all as well. And just like that, we created 34 spaces automatically. There you go. And you see how the areas are automatically calculated and the volumes are automatically calculated. If this is not happening for you, you want to make sure that you check that if you click on your space, you should be able to see areas and volume calculations. Sometimes you have them turned off because you don't want too much computational power to be drawn out of your computer. But if you do want to turn it on, the way you do it is you come here to Analyze, Spaces and Zones, and then here under Area and Volume Computation is where you say either Area Only. See how this is faster? So let's say I wanted Area Only, right? I would check like this, and then this is how you calculate your room areas, whether it is from the wall finish or from the center, etc. So I'm going to click OK. And now I have the volumes not being computed. If you need it, then you just turn them back on over there. And now we're facing a little issue, right? We have space 28, 27, 26, but it doesn't tell me anything about the room that the space is associated with, right? Typically you want your spaces to be named consistently with the architect's room names. So what you do is you come here to where it says space naming, and then you want the names and the numbers to be reflected from the rooms from the architect. So if the room is called Office A01, our space is also going to be called Office A01. So I'm going to do that for level 1. For now it's only one level that I'm working with. And just like that, they were all renamed consistently with the architects. So we can move this tag a little bit more to the north so we can read it well. We have stair, conference, instruction, corridor, instruction. We have the women bathroom, the man bathroom. Notice that this space here, this is not really a space. This is a chase, right? So let's get rid of it. That's this one here. So delete. Let's see if we have to delete something else. Oh, this doesn't have a name. This is a janitor's closet. So I may fix it in the architectural model. For now, I'm just going to call it janitor. And notice that you have some independence, right? With your spaces, you can name them whatever you want. You can even split them if you wanted to. Let's say I wanted this corridor. See, if I click here, this is the whole space. If I wanted to split it, let's say like up to here, for example, you would come here to space separator, and then you can click here and here, for example, and now you have this place split, and you could come here to space and then create a new space in that area. I'm going to click undo because I want to keep that space together. I'm going to keep redo to rename my janitor. Let's finish checking to see what else we have to delete. Maybe we find another chase. Let's see. Lounge, lobby, electrical, sprinkler, vestibule, cafeteria. Oh, that's pretty good. There you go. This one here. See, and you can kind of like spot it because you could see that space 10, for example, is 1 meter square. That's pretty weird. That's a very small space, right? Like a pantry or something. So let's delete this chase here. We don't need it as a space. One quick thing to note is that if you select your tag, you could select a different tag that displays the area, for example, or the volume, or the area and the volume, or you can even have it display other parameters like, for example, the supply airflow, the return airflow, and the exhaust airflow, or the light power density. The possibilities are really endless here. For now, I'm just going to keep the simplest tag, which is just space tag. And now let's assign the space type to each one of our spaces based on ASHRAE 62.1. So for example, this stair here, I can select it, right? I can hover over my space, and when I see the X is selected, then I go down to where it says space type, and then from here I go down to stairway, and then I hit OK. Now you can see how 130 has stairway assigned. I can go and do that one by one. For example, storage, select and change to storage. But the most efficient method that I found is I come here to my schedule, and then I make sure that under sorting and grouping, I have it by space name, and then they all get listed. So it's easier to, let's say, instruction. I would select all these guys and just change it. I click outside, and then all of them get selected. And then I can go down here and change the space type all at once to classroom. and then all of them get changed. Or you can also change them from the schedule, but it would have to be one by one. So you go like this, and select lobby, boom, and then lounge, the same thing. So I like the other one better. Now to our schedule, we probably want to add another field for the level. And then later on we can sort by level. For now I'm going to keep the sorting by name, so that when I add levels 2 and 3, actually I should have created all the spaces first for all the levels and then assign in a more efficient way. But either way, let's just go to level 2 and let's create our spaces there. Same way we did before. Space, place spaces automatically. Now I want to make sure we rename. We do that with the space naming tool. And we could do this after doing levels 1, 2, and 3 spaces and just do it once. Doesn't really matter. Now let's create spaces again. Place spaces automatically. Rename. And we have all our spaces. Let's go back to our schedule. So I'm just going to go ahead and assign all the space types for levels 1, 2, and 3. Now that we have assigned a certain space type to every one of our spaces, we're ready to sort them and group them a little bit differently in our schedule. So let's go ahead and go activate our schedule here. Go to sorting and grouping. First by level, and then by number. And there you go. We can probably even separate them a little bit. So if we do insert a blank line between each level, now they're separated by level. There we go.